Hi, everybody. This is Hondo Carpenter from the Las Vegas Raiders Insider Podcast. As you know, I'm from Sports Illustrated's Fan Nation, Raiders Today. Great to be with you all. So excited to have this guy with me. As you know, I'm your Raiders beat writer. He's my assistant beat writer, does a great job for us and with us. And Zeke, before we get started, I made you a promise weeks ago. Is the promise fulfilled? Tell everybody about your gift. What did you think?
Yes, quick answer is yes, the promise was fulfilled. Listen, the getting and being able to wear all black forces it has a certain connotation that comes with it. And you feel a certain kind of way when you put them on your feet. So it's been a while since I had some Air Forces on, but as soon as I put them on, I felt like I had superpowers.
That's funny. Superpowers. All right, I like it. So did you like now any pair of shoes is a good pair of shoes, especially when they're free, but those are nice shoes, are they not?
Oh yeah, nice and they're classic. I mean, you can never go wrong with them. They match multiple outfits, really any outfit you want to wear. And like I said, they're comfortable. So I love it. Thank you again.
Zeke, this is where you and I are different. I have never put on a pair of shoes, tennis shoes, and thought, I wonder if it matches my outfit.
Oh yeah, you that's like the first thing you got to wonder, right? It's like, hey, how does this look with everything else that I have on right now? But it's okay though, Hondo. We're gonna get you matching, coordinating. We're gonna keep it going.
Oh, you crack me up. Excuse me. All right, Zeke, let's talk about Christian Wilkins. What are you doing?
Screen just fell back, my man. Sorry about that.
All right. So let's talk about Christian Wilkins. I know we talked about him a lot, and this is probably going to be the last time, but until the season starts, or at least till we start getting into football. But they go out, he's their guy, and they grab it. The number one free agent on the defensive side of the football. They're not afraid to spend the money. They go get their guy, but you get a guy with Max's work ethic. That's the big deal. He mirrors Max in practice and in games. He's a chatterbox. He loves to talk smack. How big is this? Everyone's talking about how big a signing it is. But should there be anybody happier in America than Max Crosby? Because now they just gave another weapon that people have to. And we know how Malcolm Kuntz and Tyree Wilson are doing. How awesome is his addition for Max Crosby?
It's huge. It's huge for the whole team. It's obviously huge for the defense. But I think so. Hondo, excuse me for a minute. I might go off a little bit, but I think it's huge for a lot of different reasons. I think it's big for Tom Telesco as well. But we'll get back to that. In terms of Max, it's huge. Now Max has help on the inside of things. Obviously, they spent a while trying to find another defensive end on the opposite side of him, but now he has that help next to him, in the middle, right next to him. So that's going to be huge for him. Makes his job a whole lot easier when you put a talent next to him like Christian. So it's a big deal for Max. It's a big deal for the team. But I also think it's a big deal for Tom Telesco. For that to be his first major signing in terms of while he's here, he went out, he did it early. He didn't take time, and he spent the money. I think that's going to be a big thing for him going forward. I think it shows other free agents moving forward that, hey, Tom Telesco's for real. He'll spend the money if he thinks the talent is worth it. So I think it's a big signing for many, many reasons.
Yeah, I would 110% agree with that. I talked about this yesterday, but I want to talk about it again with you. I had an NFL executive. I just said, "What do you think of what Tom Telesco's done so far?" And he goes, "A plus." I mean, I understand that people are mad that they let Josh go, but his contract, even though it's a 4-year, $48 million deal, it really wasn't that much. It was basically over 12 guaranteed. So it's technically a 1-year deal. But when you miss as much time as Josh does, even on a 1-year deal, you can't spend those extra millions, not millions on a. It's just not feasible if you want to be a responsible franchise. Your thoughts on that?
I think you hit it right on the head. And I was actually thinking about this last night with some of the articles I was writing. It's business. in terms of Josh specifically is, and if you're taking it in terms of your personal feelings, everyone would have wanted Josh back, right? But that's not the job of a GM. The GM is to look at this as a business, which it is. And if you look at it, you know, between the two running backs that they already have on the roster, between Abdullah, Zamir, and whoever else they decide to bring in, they're probably going to be paying less for those three players combined than what they probably would have been paying for Josh, you know, per season. So it's smart business decisions, but it also frees up room for the Raiders to go spend money elsewhere and get more bang for their buck. It makes sense to me on many different levels, and bigger than that, everybody wins. Josh won, Raiders won. It's rare that you get a situation in the NFL where a player leaves or is traded or however he leaves, and both teams or both sides won. The player won, and the team that he left won, and the team that he went to won. Everybody wins. I don't see a negative from this situation.
No, I don't either. I want to talk to you about something we haven't talked about in a few days, talking about on the podcast, but that's Andre James. I think a lot of people, I've talked about it, earned Telesco a lot of respect in that locker room. Telesco knew what he was willing to offer. And then when he saw the value of Andre and the amount of people that were going to be after him, it made him reevaluate. Maybe I don't know where that, maybe I'm a little bit low on that market. And he didn't have to step up and overpay, but he did step up and pay because they're not being cheap, but they are being frugal. And that I've had more than one player say to me, that was cool. That was him really demonstrating he's going to prioritize the guys he has. I think a lot of people are missing the enormity of that signing on the locker room.
So I agree with that as well. And again, like, so overall, right, if you're looking at the moves that Tom has made, I would agree in terms of what the general manager told you. He's got an A plus if you ask me. In terms of signing Andre specifically, it takes a lot of the guesswork out of it for Telesco, right? So now he doesn't have to go find another center. He's got somebody that's been in there, that knows the team, that knows the locker room, that the locker room respects. In terms of James, I think what this is showing about Telesco is that he's done his homework on the team that he he was given. So it speaks volume in terms of his ability to assess the situation and make the best decision. Andre James, I don't think people are going to really realize how good of a signing that was until they get through this next upcoming season and the offensive line is still playing well. Signing Andre James was a huge, huge signing for sure.
Yeah, I agree with you, Zeke. I think it was a very, very big deal. All right. I want to go back and visit something. I visited with a executive who's no longer in the league anymore, who's had success. And I mentioned this to John Shop yesterday, but I asked him, if you were starting a franchise and you're in charge, what's the most important position that you have to fill? Now, I'm fully expecting him to say quarterback. Okay. He said, your salary cap manager. I'm like,
Really?
what? And he said, you can't win in the NFL and have sustained success if you don't have a disciplined manager of your salary cap. I was stunned. And then he said, and then second is quarterback. That floored me. It makes complete sense. I'm kind of ashamed I didn't think of it. But what are your thoughts when you hear that? I mean, and that comes from a guy that's won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, makes complete sense, right? When you really sit down and think about it, because if the person that's spending the money is not spending it wisely, you're going to have a top heavy team, right? Where the top, the quarterback and the receiver is getting paid 60% of the salary, right? So you have to make sure you have a wise spender in that position. But I think that's what Tom Telesco is. And I think that's what he's going to continue to prove that he is somebody who's spending wisely, who's going to get the most bang for his buck. And he's going to get a lot of bang, right? He's not going to underspend and hope that player overperforms. He's going to go and pay what it takes to get the best talent and hope that player overperforms. So I think Tom Telesco is going to prove to be that kind of cap spender where it makes sense what he's doing.
So they go out and get Gardner Minshew, who beat him, who's scrappy.
Yes,
He is a
yes,
Raider. I'm
yes.
sorry, what?
I was just excitedly saying yes. Minshew, he
Oh,
beat him. He beat him last season. They know.
okay. But he's a scrappy fighter, feisty. And they
Yeah.
make it real clear. This is Aiden O'Connell's job. But you're going to get a chance to come in and compete with them.
And compete
And
100%.
then now this is the part I got to talk to you about. 2-year, 25 mil, 15 million guaranteed. So if he doesn't work out, you throw him away, and it's not salary cap hell. But you got a fighter, scrapper, baller, who him and Aiden are going to go at it, and of course whoever the rookie is.
Yes.
I like
Yes.
this hire. I don't think it's getting enough credit
Yes.
in Raider Nation. To me, this is a great signing.
Mm-hmm.
I think it makes Aiden better. I think it makes
Yes.
Minshew better. I think it makes the Raiders better. Come on now, Zeke, talk about it.
Listen, so I agree with you. And I think, we talked a moment ago about respect in terms of, between Andre James in the locker room. And then we talked about how Minshew beat these guys just last season. So he's walking into a locker room that he already has respect in. So between that and the fact that Minshew has a decent amount of starting experience in the NFL, then he also obviously has experience as a backup in the NFL. I think it makes a lot of sense in terms of what they're doing. They're all, and this should only make Aiden that much better. I agree with that. Minshew, should he, push Aiden pretty hard? Yes, but I would expect Aiden to obviously win it. But this gives Aiden a fair shot to go, take over that starting position, keep the starting position. But in terms of Minshew, it makes too much sense not to bring him in. So I like the signing a lot.
All right, now I want to ask you just a holistic question. When deals are getting announced 3 minutes after the legal tampering, is it time for the NFL to just say, come on, man, let's
No,
just be real?
no, sir. No,
Uh,
sir. Because it's like if you're driving down the street, you know how sometimes you're driving down certain streets and they make the speed limit 35, knowing full well you're gonna go past 35. It's similar here. If they just take that rule away and they're like, oh, do whatever you want. Can you imagine the craziness it would be ridiculous. So at least this way, there's a little bit of control to what's going on. There's a little bit of of a facade of what's going on. If they take that rule away, I think all hell could break loose, to be honest with you.
it's going to be fun. All right, let's talk about the NFL. Zeke, I alluded to this the other day, but they have done a masterful job. As soon as the Super Bowl's over, you then have Combine in February. Then you go into March, free agency. April, draft. Rookie mini camps, OTAs, mini camps, preseason. I mean, they have just made the NFL 12 months a year. It is growing expenentially.
Yes.
How awesome are the marketers at the NFL?
Listen. I'll even throw this one in there. This is how genius they are. When did they release the schedule in terms of the dates? They released that in what, like May or June or so?
Hey,
They had this figured out to the T in terms of, hey guys, hey fans out there, here's the schedule. Go ahead and start making your plans for later this year, right? They have this figured out to the T in terms of how to keep you interested, how to keep you involved every step of the way. I love it because it's days like yesterday when all those signings are going off. It's like Christmas. It's like Christmas in March. You know what I mean? Seeing what Christmas presents are you going to open up? What new toys are you going to have when your favorite teams around the league? So I love it. It's one of my most favorite parts of being around the NFL.
I have to tell you, I felt bad because people were, Honda were refreshing for everything you had. Well,
We gave it to you. There it is.
yeah, a lot of fun. All right, Zeke, last question. Who the Raiders picking? Are they trading up, trading down, staying? If they're staying, who they picking?
So first of all, I'm excited that you asked me this question simply because you asked me last week what was Tom Telesco going to do, and I said I don't know. Giving I don't know as an answer is one of my biggest pet peeves, so I'm sorry for that. However, although I still don't necessarily know who, I do feel like he's narrowing it down. I really feel like he's down to 2 to 3 positions, and I think it's defense. I think it's cornerback. I think it's 2 positions. I think it's cornerback most likely, and then linebacker. To me, I feel like that's what Tom is going to do. I feel like no, yeah, well, maybe agreed. But I feel like in terms of what Tom is going to do overall, in a very general sense, is I think Tom Telesco is about to make this a defensively focused team step by step, starting with the 13th overall pick. So I'm excited because before yesterday, before the last couple of days, the Raiders could have gone a couple of different ways, but after the different signings they've made, he started to plug holes left and right. So I'm excited to about where they're about to go, and I think this is about to be a defensively led team for sure.
I think offensive line or defense is where they go at 13, but I know they would like to trade back. Now, if I told you,
You say trade back? Is that what
yeah,
you said?
if I
Okay.
told you that there are going to be at least 4 quarterbacks taken before pick 13, would you believe that?
Yes, off the top of my head, yes, sir. 4 before 13, yes, sir. I feel like 3
Yep.
is easy. 4 is likely, yes, sir.
What if I told you the 4th one was not JJ, that JJ is going to move ahead of some people?
I wouldn't be surprised about that. I feel like JJ is going to be. I feel like he's got a lot of potential, and I think the fact that he just played in a run heavy offense, I think some people might be underestimating his skills. So I think he's got a lot of potential.
Yeah, I 100% we're on board. Where you and I are on the same page, my friend. He is the great Zeke Trezevant. Now, next week, he's going to hold up his shoes.
Yes, yes, I'm going to have those ready.
I want everyone to see him so people know when Uncle Hondo makes a promise that you're getting a gift, you get your gift.
Oh, you get your gift. Take my word for it, but I will definitely show those for you next week as well, for sure.
All right, look forward. Hang on the line real quick, Zeke. I want to talk to you. Remember, I'm Hondo Carpenter from Sports Illustrated's Fan Nation Raiders Today. You're listening to the Las Vegas Raiders podcast, Insider Podcast. Remember, si.com/NFL/Raiders is where you get all your information. While you're there, click on the upper right-hand corner, the link that says newsletter. When you sign up, we don't spam you. We don't sell your information, but 3 days a week, you'll get an email with our top stories. Don't miss it. Follow me again on Instagram at HondoSR, on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Hondo Carpenter. And Zeke, tell them your
Yes,
Twitter.
my handle is E as an elephant, Z, so EZ, and then my last name Trezevant. That's T as in Tom, REZ as in zebra, EVAN as in Nancy, T as in Tom. Easy Trezevant.
He's easy like a Sunday
Like Sunday
morning.
morning.
All right, everybody. We'll see you again soon.